So I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you guys no bullshit, novel dating advice for the modern man. And I've got a special guest on today. His name is Joe, and he is part of Game Global. And I believe we're going to talk about dating when you are older. But welcome, Joe.
What's up? Excited to be on your channel.
Yes.
Just to say, I'm going to give you a compliment on your own channel. Like, when I heard you were older than me, like, I was shocked because you look younger than me. I'm 32, so I'm not sure whether I'm like the expert on dating, whether you're older, but I like the idea of talking about just people's limiting beliefs in general.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What type of limiting beliefs do you think? What are the limiting beliefs? What are all the limiting beliefs that you have heard in your time? Meeting guys that are doing game.
Well, I think the biggest one is like just anything to do with appearance, right? So everyone just says like, not everyone, but a lot of guys like game doesn't work for me because I'm short. Game doesn't work for me because I'm old. I've got a bald head. Like whatever the fuck it is, like and these are the excuses that they use. And at Game Global, we coach guys to get better with women. And yeah, often one of the first stumbling blocks that we have to help people see is that while appearance does matter for first impressions, and maybe it gives you like an extra like minute of her like putting up with your bullshit, like for sure you can still win a woman over with your personality no matter what you look like, because women are attracted to they're a lot more complex than guys. Like guys, like it's mostly appearance based, but with women they want a man who's like charismatic, confident, popular, assertive, brave, funny, all these things, and it is just a much bigger rainbow of things that they're attracted to. And when you have all these other things, like it's my belief that actually their perception of you actually even changes, and they become even like you become hotter in their eyes. And I can elaborate on that maybe in a bit.
Okay,
But,
so if a guy, and I've heard this many times before, if a guy tells you, okay, well, I'm unattractive, this is what's holding me back. I'm not good looking enough. What would your advice to him be? I've heard this recently, by the way.
okay, well, the first thing that I would say is that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you don't believe that you are good enough for women, whether it's because of your looks or whatever, and you still do try and approach, then you're gonna do it in a way which is communicating that you don't deserve a girl. And this, like, people are very perceptive of body language and sub communications. Okay, it's commonly said that like 7% of communication only is verbal. The rest is through our body language and like the way we speak. So if you truly believe that you're not good looking enough for girls, like that is, you're going to approach women and they're going to also believe that because that's what you're communicating to them. So that's the first thing that I would make it clear. But so how do you believe that it's not true? Well, what you need to do, what I would suggest you do, is that you take a look at all the pickup videos. I know there's a lot less on YouTube these days. I used to watch like RSD back in the day, and like RSD Tyler is perhaps the biggest example, no offense, of someone who's not good looking who did really well with girls.
Yeah.
Perhaps I consider myself someone who's not really that good looking. So if you guys want, you can be inspired by me, and then there's plenty of others. But I want to tell my story. My story is I was okay with girls here and there, nothing to write home about. Then I had got into a relationship, That fell apart. It was like toxic, and it fell apart, and that completely like ruined my confidence and my self-belief. So I went from pulling from nightclubs like occasionally to like literally not, after that breakup, not having a date for a year, over like 1 year and 1 week without getting laid. Yeah. And because I wasn't clued up to like social dynamics and all this stuff that I've studied since, and the game and things like that, like I thought, oh, I'm not good looking. Like it's because I'm bald. Like they don't give me a chance because I'm bald. It's because I have like a crow's feet. Wow, 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 wow. Like all these things.
But where's the upper limit of that? Where you see, where would you say the upper limit of what you can do? So okay, so in internal belief, that surely would only have a limited amount of, it would only give you a limited amount of boost. So just say you're a very unattractive guy, you bring the confidence, right? But you, for instance, I don't know, just super unattractive, and you've got, just super unattractive. You walk over and you're 200 kilos and short and really unattractive. You got the confidence going for you now, and now you're getting a lot more rejections, I dare say, because you're putting yourself out there a little bit more. What would be the next step? Let's break this down. I want to dig a little bit deeper.
Sure, for sure. So let me finish my story, and the end of that story is that I started to learn game. I started to learn how to become more confident, and then like luckily for me, I guess, like within a couple of weeks of learning that, I was back. I was excited to meet girls again because I've learned all this new information. Wow. I just moved to London, so I was like excited about that as well. And then within a couple of weeks, I was like pulling girls again, but I didn't look any different. Okay, I was still the same appearance.
Yeah.
And then I've just gone from a whole year not getting laid to getting laid like with hotter girls than ever. And obviously now, 5 years later, I've been studying game, and I still, if anything, I just look a bit older, a bit bolder. But I look the same as I did back then, and I'm pulling all the fucking time. I'm pulling all the fucking time now. I know, and this was in London as well as in Asia. I live in Asia now, all over the world. So that is the example I give of myself. To answer your question now, is someone, okay, so he's overweight, maybe like he has bad teeth or whatever the
just
fuck.
Just unattractive,
yeah.
Just unattractive in general. It could be a multitude of things.
Sure. And he's starting to lose. Sorry, he started to approach and he started
more,
to
get more rejections. And then what would be the next step at that stage when you've kind of hit a bit of a brick wall, getting a bit frustrated?
Sure. So what I would say is if you're just starting with learning how to approach girls, how to be more confident, how to be more charismatic, but you're still perhaps not getting results yet, okay? We would encourage guys to look at it objectively. So we always encourage guys to write down like field reports, or just like reports of what went well and what you can improve on next time. So for sure, this is how I felt about it. Like, I look at so this girl, she was super hot, and we was in a conversation for this amount of time, probably less longer than before, right? Like, and then you just see that as a win. I'm like, I ran out of things to say, so that's something I can work on next time. Yeah.
Okay, so take the little wins, take the little victories. Okay, I lasted longer in the talking to one girl.
Yeah. I made a joke with this girl, and she really liked it. And then I pulled her in, and we had a little dance for a second, and then she got bored and left.
Yeah. That's
a win. Okay. Like other examples, like I was more direct before I was scared, or whatever. I approached more girls this time. That's a win. What that's gonna do is you're gonna grow. You're gonna learn to have fun. You're gonna enjoy the process of talking to women. You're gonna enjoy your progress. and perhaps people are listening. Yeah, but I was still not getting laid. But like, it will come. Okay, and maybe it's not all the fucking time. Maybe it's not with the hottest girls. But what is the alternative? Like, what is just to give up?
Well, I guess as long as you're better than where you were yesterday, that's a cliche saying, but as long as you're better than where you were yesterday, and so I guess then you're unattractive, you're not doing anything, you're now approaching, then you got a lot of rejection, and then you would say, okay, we'll analyze what you're doing in a little bit more depth. So just say you start analyzing it, you start celebrating the little victories. Okay, well, I've overcome a little bit of the approach anxiety. I'm doing a little bit more approaches. I'm consistently doing approaches. Let's just say, as an example, I'm actually approaching with the belief that this can actually work. You know, you get a little bit of belief going there. So you're still battling away, doing approaches and doing the best you can, but you're still getting a ton of rejection, which is very common. Next, where would you go? I want to dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So you could use like a weight loss analogy. Like if you are starting from, I don't know, like 100 pounds overweight, it's going to take longer for you to be at a weight that you're happy with. Does that mean you should not do it at all? Like, does that mean you should just not even start? For some people, for sure, like they've come from like a really bad childhood or something, or they just like never had success with women because of what they look like. Perhaps they've got like a disability or something. And for these people, they are going to take longer. They are going to have to like pick up more rejections. So I think in order to motivate them to keep growing and keep getting better every week, I think an important thing to do is to reframe what a rejection is and learn how to handle rejection.
So enjoy.
So when you go up and speak to a woman in the club and for 30 seconds and then she tells you to go fuck yourself, like the feedback I would give there is that she's not rejecting you as a person, okay? Because she doesn't know who you are. All the like 35 years and however many months you've been alive before, she doesn't know about any of that. She's just rejecting what you're presenting to her.
Yeah, so
I think that really helps you with the longevity to keep going and to keep trying and to keep improving.
Yeah, so at that point, what I would often hear is from some guys is, okay, well, I've reframed it. I go out all positive and I'm doing my best, but then I'm getting beaten down out there. And I guess to some extent, reframing that situation can be tough too. You see, and it's not. I'm not just trying to, milk your brain for this information. This is one of the hardest things to solve. So I'll try to get as much out of you as possible, because this is one of the hardest things. So you're out there, you're still battling away. You're not getting the results. The world's hating on you. You're trying to reframe it. You're doing your best. And you feel like you're doing your best. Objectively, are you doing your best? That's another story. Again, are you really doing your best? Who knows? But in your own mind, you feel like you're doing the best you can. You're getting a lot of rejections. Things don't seem to be going your way. Where would you go when you get to someone that's hit that kind of wall?
Yeah. So first, one thing I would definitely suggest before anything is to work on creating a life which you enjoy, regardless of whether women are in it. Okay, because that's going to make you less desperate for the result. Okay. Secondly, you need to find a way to make it fun. Okay. That could be, hopefully, if you're lucky enough to live in a big city where we have a big community, to find a wingman and bounce off them. For sure, a lot of people who have been in our community for a long time, they know the importance of making it fun. Like, it's like nighttime, you can laugh with your wingman about, oh, so and so happened. Maybe you make a joke that you find funny. Yeah, these sorts of things.
Yeah, I guess it's hard.
We have a network of just to say, we have a network of Telegram groups in 200 plus cities around the world. If you can't find a wingman, these are the other things. That's definitely what I used to do. And I know you mentioned it before. Just like the adrenaline of going out there and speaking to these girls and just having a good time, and you learn to enjoy that.
That's something. That's something that I guess that's probably a very powerful way to something to teach guys. Is like me, and I know you feel that as well. You get this adrenaline rush. You know, if you're doing it for a very long time, it's almost like if you're not approaching after a couple of days, if you haven't made an approach in 2 days, you just feel like, oh my god, I got to get out there. I don't care if there's a snowstorm or some sort of a blizzard
eventually
out there.
But if you wouldn't feel that yet. So what I would do if I was coaching someone and they were so focused on, I didn't get laid yet, I didn't get the numbers yet, I didn't get this, I would completely turn them around and just get them enjoying the approaches and get them seeing their small wins. All right, when that's the first step. If you're focused on results, no matter how fucking good you are, that's going to hold you back, and you're not going to get them. So the very first thing I would focus on is enjoying yourself. But they're not going to get it if they want it too much. This is it. The only metaphor I can think of in my head right now is if if you're really trying to get a hard on, and you think about it too much, then it doesn't come. But if you relax and enjoy the moment, then it comes. Right?
That's perfect sense to me. Totally understand what you're going there. I totally.
It's the same. It's the same. If you want it too much, if you're too focused on outcome, you're not going to get an outcome, and that's a really important message that I would share with everyone. So how to enjoy the process? Like I said. Perhaps it's little funny comfort zone openers. Perhaps you're making jokes that you find funny. Things like this. You're having a laugh with your wingman. Yeah, things like this. This is something that I personally found quite easy because I was always quite extroverted. I was just kind of got messed up through a breakup. But even then, I think with any hobby, when you realize you're pushing yourself and you're getting better and better and better, that can be enjoyable in itself. Like if you're learning a musical instrument, I fucking did it a bit better that time. That you can learn to enjoy that.
Yeah, as long as you see some form of progress, right? I guess that's why when you brought up analyzing everything as accurate as possible, so that you can actually try to find those little bits of improvement. Because I guess a lot of those improvements might not be so self-evident. You might not see them unless you analyze in depth what you're doing every single day. I guess maybe we had a little bit of a breakthrough there. Actually, that's a little nugget of gold. The whole point of analyzing is to somehow find out where you're making those little incremental improvements, where you're a little bit better than yesterday, and that gives you the it gives you the self-confidence, gives you the it makes you more likely to build grit and continue on with this, because a lot of guys quit, right? So
Yeah.
what would you call it, where you found, okay, well, I've got a little
We
incremental...
call it a field report, and it doesn't.
Oh, no, not the field report. Yeah, I guess the field report will help you find out where you've got the little incremental gain. But what would that give you? Self-confidence? It would give you something that would help you
something to hold on to, like self-belief.
Self-belief to fight,
Yeah.
to live to fight another day. Is the best way.
Well, yeah, and also to see that you're improving. So we suggest that people write down maybe like 2 or 3 things that they did well, but also 2 or 3 things that they can do better next time. I used to work in door-to-door sales, and we were told to do the same thing, because you get beaten down like no in that field as well. But we would write down the things we did well, so we could see we're not completely terrible.
Yeah.
And we'd also write down the 3 things we can improve on, so we know what to study on.
Yeah.
And that is now I know this. And if you do that every single day, whether that's game, whether that's with like a sport, or anything you're trying to get better at, that is the way you make these like micro improvements every single day. And that is what gives you the encouragement to keep going.
Yeah. I said grit a second ago, and there's this book called Grit by I think she's a doctor, and Angela Duckworth, and she was analyzing what success is, and how people become successful, and it was grit. So they can't really see the end goal, they can't really see the success, they're not actually getting any results, but they continue to hammer it out every day and do the right things. They can never see, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. They're hating on everybody. They're getting a lot of rejection. People keep telling them, continue doing your thing, and they're like, what does this guy know? What does this guy know about what I'm going through? This is individual to me. Everyone hates me, and they get close to quitting. But I guess if they have grit and they continue on, they're stoic. They eventually get to somewhere where they feel a lot more secure in their game. But also, I guess there's never really an end goal, because once you start to get better, the older you get, and then you need to continue getting better just to tread water. That's also another factor as well. But yeah, it's a harsh world out there. But yeah, I think I might stop it at that nugget of gold. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Joe. Joe is from Game Global. I've already got a link in the description to the Game Global Telegram groups.
Can I just say one thing about it?
So
we spoke about looking for ways that you can improve on things that you did well and what you can do better next time. That can be difficult if you don't have a wingman and you're out on your own, or you don't have a coach. So what we do have is we have these Telegram groups for 200 cities across the world. If you can join them, you can start telling people about your day or what happened when you went out and game, and then they can give you feedback, and then that can give you a better idea of what to do next time, or what went well and what didn't, if you're not sure.
Yep.
And join, I want to say as well.
And make sure that you guys join up to Game Global Group Sydney, because that's the best one, because that's the one that I'm leader of.
All right.
And I'll if you guys like this video, it makes sense to you, make sure you click the subscribe button, and also click that little bell icon so you get notified every time I upload. And I'll see you guys in the next video.